Starting off with our first matchup here, Kentucky, Vanderbilt. A matchup where Kentucky is fighting for bowl eligibility, where Vanderbilt is fighting for a discussion of could we possibly make it to the college football playoffs. Let me back up and say that again. Vanderbilt is talking about a possibility and discussions of making it to the college football playoffs. Now, Tucker, hopefully we just hear a squash to the end of that for your sake from your Vols. But nonetheless, this matchup I think is a very intriguing one because Kentucky is kind of known for being an upset team. Really, that's about all they've really been known for a long time, and they can be that team. How do you see this matchup, Tucker, between Kentucky and Vanderbilt? How do you see this one playing out?
Well, oddly enough, Kentucky has not lost down there in, I believe, 10 years. They got beat 21-17 by that team that it was one of Kyle Shermer's first teams at Vanderbilt. I know Derek Mason was the coach back then. Vanderbilt's defense was really, really good that season, but the offense was non-existent. They were 4-8. Your average Vanderbilt team back then. This is better than your average Vanderbilt team. Because like the last time they were this good, they were whooping up on Kentucky in those years. Like there were a couple 30-40 point beatdowns in the James Franklin years. And I don't think it's going to be quite like that. I think Kentucky has shown some improvement, particularly on the offensive side of the ball. That said, I do think Vanderbilt probably ends up winning this game. And you're going to have that fight in Neyland Stadium for college football playoff conversations, which Tennessee would love to end that. At least go out on a high note there if it can't win in Florida this weekend. But I'll say this about Kentucky though, because obviously there's this game that they could win and potentially get into a bowl game. Keep your eyes on the Governor's Cup. Louisville dropped a funky one to Clemson the other week. So it may be able to lose this game and still find its way into a bowl game. I do think this will be competitive because, I mean, pretty much every game Vandy's played at home this year against an SEC team has been competitive. But I do think the Doors get it done in this one.
Yeah, and the spread currently sitting there right around 10-point favorites for Vanderbilt in Nashville. How do you see this one shaking up, Andrew?
Yeah, I don't know if I have a strong feeling either way in terms of who wins it because I do think Kentucky could be competitive in this game. I think 9.5 is way too much. Kentucky's been playing better. And I'm not overreacting to a game against Tennessee Tech, but Cutter Bowley's been playing better at quarterback. McGowan and Dowdell at running back is a good duo. So they have something on offense. And defensively, it's been stronger the last few weeks. Now, that's been some pretty poor offenses that they have faced. And Vanderbilt, of course, has a lot more firepower. I think the Doors could probably put some points up themselves, but I don't hate Kentucky's chances of keeping this competitive. I do feel like there's a little bit of life around that program now. And I think coming into the year, we sort of all buried Kentucky under Mark Stoops. Is the only reason this guy's not fired is because we don't want to pay an insane buyout for him. But I will not be shocked if Kentucky finds a way to close this year strong and get back to a bowl game. So I like Kentucky to be able to score some on Vanderbilt in this game. The Commodore defense is not nearly as strong as I think it looked for parts of the season. They have had some teams be able to put some points up on them. So I could see some points in this one, and I think Kentucky keeps it close.
For Vanderbilt too, I feel like a lot of it has been just second half adjustments, making adjustments to your opponent and finding a way. I mean, we saw that the Texas game really stands out to me for that, getting themselves right there in the thick of it with a chance, just not able to close out, or several games where they're down and they just find a way to turn it around and come back and win. It's strange to see Vanderbilt kind of going against my narrative of them in the offseason. I said coming into this season, I just said they're not that good of a team. They beat Alabama, and everyone just kind of views them as being good now. And I don't think that's the case. They proved me wrong. So I think Vanderbilt is going to get it done. But I definitely agree with both of you. I think this can be a close game, and I think this is one that Kentucky has been looking better, and they are going to try to fight for that bowl eligibility because let's be honest, it does mean something to a lot of programs. For most programs, I think even Oklahoma last year, that's not your expectation whatsoever if you're the University of Oklahoma, but you still would be much more disappointed without that bowl eligibility. And so, I think Kentucky, it's going to be a very close game. I think Vanderbilt gets it done, but it's going to be one of those uncomfortable comeback wins for the Vanderbilt Commodores.